Hello guys, in this new video we're going to show you the best Canon PowerShot G7X Mark III camera for video 2022. I will keep the links below updated with the best price in the video description. Let's begin. G7X III is the first Canon camera that can shoot oversampled 4K video, but if you want to get the best image quality possible, you need to play with the settings a little bit. What manufacturers like to do on customer cameras nowadays is to use a massive amount of digital sharpening. If you don't want to edit your 4K footage, using auto picture style with sharpness set to 3 seems to be a good option. There is a good compromise between the sharpness and avoiding the sharpening artifacts. If you want to get the best image quality possible, I recommend using a natural picture style and adding sharpness in post-production. The sharpness is turned all the way down to natural picture style. It is less saturated and has lower contrast, so it is also suitable for color grading. About 30 to 50 sharpness setting in volumetry, color, or other editing software works the best in most situations. This makes a huge difference in the overall look. It is possible to get a very good looking 4K video out of G7X III, but it will never match a 4K video from something like Sony 73. Of course, it is similar to 1080. Of course, 1080 is nowhere near as good as 4K. Shoot 4K if you can. If not, shooting in natural mode and sharpening in the post will still provide the best results. 3 stops are a good all-around choice and they will help you avoid very high shutter speeds and achieve a more natural look. The downside is that you have to remember to turn it off in lower light situations because then the camera would use higher ISO values and introduce more noise. Some of the viewers were also asking me about the HDR Video 1 G7X III. My recommendation is don't use it. The image quality in this mode is quite poor. You can't adjust the picture style at all and it is only available in 1080p. It is nowhere near as good as the HDR mode on DJ's mode for example, which works great, so just don't use it on G7X III. That is basically the truth about every autofocus system, so for logging shots, the Smart Phase Detection Plus tracking mode works well. It can always identify the facing frame to make sure that you are in focus. You can help press the shutter button to see the green square around your face, but it is optional for everything else. The focus acquisition is slower, but it doesn't hand. So it is not that painful to watch even if the subject drifts out of focus. G7X M3 has really good optical stabilization. It is good enough for aesthetic shots, panning, vlogging, and it even smooths out the walking pretty well. Turning on the auto level option. This will help you keep the horizon leveled and it works pretty well. The M2 is smaller than most smartphone gimbals, but it can also work with lighter points and shoot mirrorless cameras such as the G7X III. You can get pretty smooth footage out of this combination if you leave the optical image stabilization and camera turned on. It is very light and compact, so it won't be as stable as Moza Air 2 with a full-frame camera. Of course, for the size, you will be happy with the results. You can further improve the smoothness by using Warp Stabilizer in Premiere Pro or Final Cut. That works very well. It doesn't require much computing power, and if you stabilize gimbal footage or static shots, it usually crops it only by 1 to 3%. Regarding the charging, what I found out is that the battery can be charged in cameras through USB, but you have to use a charger or power bank that supports PD or power delivery standards. For example, if you have a newer MacBook Pro charger that will work with G7X III. Canon offers an original, bulky, and overpriced PD charger, but I see no reason to get that one. The good news is that you can power the camera through USB without having the battery inside, which can be very useful for time lapses. The battery is to use Eco mode, which dims the screen after about 2 seconds. It really works and it saves a lot of battery life, which is not great on any 1-inch sensor camera. It happens when you shoot 4K for a long time, especially in summer. This will merely be a problem if you shoot long clips. If you shoot short 1-minute clips, it won't be that big of a problem. The thing is that the battery is not even warm if you take it out. Overheating is very common on 1-inch sensor compact cameras and there are much worse cameras in this category in terms of overheating. With low background noise, it is okay, but it won't match the external mic of course. G7X III is the first 1-inch sensor compact camera with a mic input jack. One of my favorite ways to record sound nowadays is to use Rode Wireless Go. You can clip it onto the backside of the display hinge, which works pretty well for vlogging. You can recover a lot of information in both highlights and shadows, so you have a lot of flexibility in the post. It actually beats Canon EOS M50 by a significant margin in terms of shadows recovery. The highest ISO that I would use on G7X III is between 1253 to